not create such puzzles, verbal puzzles, and to try to do things and live in the present and make your life as pleasant as possible without putting labels on that existence, whether it is a happy existence or not, whether it is spiritually viable or not, whether it is enlightened or not. Just live. A dog, just look at him, he's just living his moment. And let's pretend that we are dogs and we don't have any language. If you want to make a dog happy or a cat, give him the tongue to speak and he'll be very unhappy. He will not, he will want to demand things, he will want to change things around, he will not want to wait for his master all day long. At the end of the day, he will not just be climbing all over him happily that he's here. He'll be saying, where the hell have you been all day? I've been here sitting while you have been having a good time outside. And that will be the kind of language you will hear from the dog. And we do that too, ourselves. So that's the danger of the dark side of the language.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking about psychotherapy.
Yes.
And psychological development.
Yes.
And what I notice is that we tend to try to put our experiences into words.
Yes.
And express them, right?
Right.
To the therapist or whatever.
Yes.
We do. So you think that...
Yeah, I would go counter to that. I gave the example earlier that when you see a medical doctor, the doctor only asks you one or two questions, about the problem. After that, he doesn't want you to say much. He takes out the stethoscope. He's trying to determine what your temperature is, what blood pressure is. He might give you some blood tests, some urine tests, things like that. Or he's going to specifically ask you to respond to how he's touching your body at certain points in certain ways. But he doesn't want much description beyond just trying to, get some minimal information beyond that. The patient is never consulted about his disease. The patient's disease becomes a doctor's domain of expertise. He's not.
But I don't understand. I understand your example, but not how to apply that to psychological things.
Yeah, again, there also, then you are letting the patient become an expert in verbalizing his situation.
Oh,
and so that's what happens. And typically, the psychologist is listening and listening for 50 minutes at $100 and 50 minutes, and the guy is just talking and talking, and then he says, "Your time is up. Come, start talking the next time."
Though I hear some people say sometimes that it is good that they feel good by sharing or expressing their feelings to other people in words.
Yeah.
What do you think about
Nothing
that?
wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Not trying to repress or suppress their ability to speak or their need to speak. They only should realize that speaking is not living. Speaking is only a one level where we speak because we have the ability. We would be living quietly. And then we would also not have any inventions and progress, and we would not be telling other people, look what I learned the other day and you can carry on after me. I could not write it down. So we would be living in very primitive conditions. We would not have much progress. But then the dark side of it is that then we very loosely begin to use. It's like a knife used for quartering an animal that has already been slaughtered versus a knife that is used for killing normal human beings. There's a misuse of the two. So the daily language is a misuse of a proper use of the language, which produces all the fruits of man's progress in terms of thinking properly, which is usually done by mathematics and the scientific method. And there we use it. We do not do scientific work with daily language. The structure is not good enough. We have to use mathematics. Now I'm going deeper, and I don't want to go deeper.
Okay. Yeah. I was just thinking about something that I think about my youth.
Yes.
And I feel the need to label my youth, whether it was a good youth or a bad youth, so that it explains a little bit what I feel or who I am or whatever.
Well, I could, if I was to say describe your youth or mine, maybe I would use one set of words to describe it. Somebody else would take the same exact situation, we use another way of describing. For instance, you find in extremely poor country, third world countries, people lived in abject poverty, but they describe their life in glowing terms. For For instance, Mother Teresa, when she came to New York, she said, don't think that poor people are only in Calcutta. Poor people are here in New York with lots of money. So look after them. Don't go to Calcutta. Take care of your own. So the verbalism will lead you into both areas. You can look at a very bad situation and think it's a very good situation, or you can think a very good situation and turn it into a bad situation, because you can say anything. We had a case recently, about 2 years ago in San Diego, where 39 people killed themselves, saying to themselves that they were going to transfer to a UFO which was following a comet. And the verbalizing was such that we have these vehicles that they refer to their bodies, and that the inside is our spirit. And all we need to do is get rid of this vehicle here, which would be done by actually suffocating yourself. And then you would show up over there, and there are new vehicles waiting for you there. And all 39 of them, with that kind of verbalism, acted it out. And within a couple of months, 2 more people actually tried to do the same thing. And one actually survived this, but the other did kill himself. So to us, the language is they killed themselves. But to them, the language is we have merely transferred ourselves from this vehicle to that vehicle. So language has a lot of flexibility. And I can...
But when you talk about like the suicide of these people, and I think that probably a lot of problems of human beings, including suicide, has a lot to do with how they verbalize their experiences.
How they verbalize. For instance, recently I watched on TV that some kids shot up some other kids in the school, and the kids were about 11, 12 years old, and they happened in Arkansas. And so I heard a commentator on television saying, what we need to do is teach our children how to love and not hate. That is not the problem, I don't think. They are acting out some verbalism, which is not that I hate, and I don't love, I don't love. They are acting out some verbalism. One of those boys got jilted by his girlfriend, and he got so angry, and the guns were handy, and he had already had practice shooting with his grandfather, and he knew where those guns were, and he just came, and out of his anger he shot up other people. Now what was he thinking? We cannot tell him what he was thinking. He has to tell us what he was thinking. So he has some words racing through his brain which tell him that by killing other people he has shown his girlfriend how much he cares for her, or that he doesn't care anything about her, or what, I don't know what. I have no idea. So eventually we need to ask some person when he does something, what is it that he is saying to himself? Because somebody else could be saying something else to themselves and could be doing the same thing, or saying the same thing and doing different things. It is just whatever you want to verbalize. Verbalism is so flexible. So the upshot of what I'm saying is that we are able to manufacture verbal facts, and then we treat those verbal facts as though they were silent level facts. And no amount of verbal interpretation of silent level facts will change the silent level facts. Silent level facts remain silent level. They're unaltered. They cannot be influenced by our verbalism. But we can for sure lay this template of words on silent level facts, and we may interpret them and distort them to our will. And this ability is obviously there. So calling a spade, or calling it anything else, whatever you want to do, you can call anything you want. But whatever that thing is, that will remain whatever it is. And we almost need a truth fairy, or somebody who is trained into looking at things and not verbalizing, to come us and tell us, like a Sherlock Holmes kind of a guy, who will tell us, whether it was the butler who did it or somebody else did it. And that is the detective work that we need, which we don't possess, because we are so quick on the draw with words that we refuse to look at silent level facts. And so we manufacture verbal level facts. And those verbal level facts we orient ourselves throughout life with those upper level facts. For instance, if you are in Los Angeles,